ordered that, as you can see at the top there, 30th of December when I bought the thing on eBay, so when it arrived I could just put it all together. Inside the top of the box I've got the warranty card and the instruction booklet and the small infrared remote control. Now I was glad to see there are absolutely no scratches or marks on it at all, despite the fact it said it was refurbished. I think it's just been a display model. It did come from an electrical retailer. On the bottom we've got metal legs at either side, it's got bottom weight to it. There's a bass port there and a downward firing subwoofer, which should give it a nice rich quality of sound, adding that to those two single drivers on the front. That's a sticker that comes off there. There's a power button next to that, with a line input and a headphone output, a slot loading CD drive, an OLED screen, and on the top we've got the controls, which look a little bit unusual. We've got all these buttons around here which do various things, you can see by reading them, and then this dial you can twist it around and click it in to select things. Now looking around the back, we've got various inputs and outputs on here which aren't going to go to any use in the location it's going to, but we've got an auxiliary input, there's another one of those, remember, on the front, and a line output, a digital optical input, and a USB port that you can put a USB stick full of MP3s into. Over on the right hand side we've got the on-off switch, we've got the power connector. Notice it's multi-voltage this, it's sold throughout the world I think, but when it's sold in the US there's no DAB radio because they don't use that standard over there. In the middle on the back that's the aerial socket, and you can see that's the aerial to attach to it that I bought for £10. Now if this thing was discounted by over £200 just because it was missing a £10 aerial, that's not a bad deal. I've still got a little spanner included in here which is used for tightening the aerial up on the back. So the remote control is an infrared remote, so you do need to point it at the device, but I was glad to see that the buttons on here are proper buttons, clicky buttons, rather than those kind of bubble type buttons you get on some remotes. I don't like those at all. And it's powered by one button cell. Right, so let's turn it on, but I'll twist the device around first so we can see if anything pops up on the screen when we first switch it on. Extend the aerial as well. And now I'll flip the on switch and see what happens, and there's not an awful lot, it just says live audio and the time is not set, so I'll need to set that. Now, I had a quick play around with the buttons. This one on the front just dims the display, so it's not that one. I was trying to figure it out by going through the menus, but there are kind of layers of menus on this thing. It's not immediately obvious, some of these settings. Now, this was a little bit of a concern, but again, when it goes over to a parent's house, they're not going to have to mess with any of these things, because I'll set the things up as they should be set initially, and then they can just use it. They don't need to go into any of these things. For example, the date and time, I've set it to a 12-hour clock, but it can also pull the time through from the radio, so I've set it to do that, and therefore they'll never have to set the time and date on this one. So I've done that, but I've noticed one thing. As soon as the radio started playing, it sounded really bad, but also the volume, you can see here, if I turn it up, just look at the display at the bottom there, there's something showing in that white block section, and you can see it says time is not set. It's been burnt into the OLED screen. It must have been sat on display somewhere, so my original idea was right, that it's probably in a display model, with the time is not set flashing over and over again. It's burnt itself into the OLED